I'm Eric Kool, Director of Polk County Community, Family, and Youth Services, the Social Services Department of the county. Our department administers several food programs, provides emergency assistance, a family self-sufficiency program, well elderly program, services for victims of crime. We operate a juvenile detention center, and most recently we have added the Financial Empowerment Center in collaboration with the Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund. I will be sharing some details about our process and considerations in selecting a nonprofit agency as our financial counseling provider. As we began the process of implementing a financial empowerment center and identifying a nonprofit agency to be the service provider, we had a few priorities. Because we would be establishing and promoting financial counseling as a public service provided by the county, we knew it was important to partner with an organization of outstanding integrity and credibility. We wanted an agency with a very good reputation, including a history of good management, ethics, success in implementing and sustaining programs, and history of being collaborative. Ideally, we preferred to contract with an agency that already had experience providing activities in support of economic well-being, such as work training and employment services, financial literacy, benefits navigation, or tax preparation. We also wanted to contract with an agency with experience serving the populations we were most hoping to assist: low-wage and underemployed workers, underrepresented communities, residents in low property value neighborhoods, renters, returning citizens, refugees, and individuals and families receiving public assistance. The process of building interest among agencies for becoming our financial counseling provider started during the planning phase, when we met with dozens of individuals and organizations to make sure we fully understood the landscape of existing related activities and unmet needs. In this process, we spent a lot of time talking about the FEC model, what would be the relationship with the county, and other replication initiatives around the country. We also helped agencies think through how financial literacy, education, and counseling fit into their purpose and service array, as core to their work or as important but provided as an ad hoc addition to their work. In this process, there was some natural self-sorting over time, agencies determining they were happy to have another entity provide the service, and a smaller number of agencies that saw this work as so important to their clients that they might consider providing it directly. Our advisory group was also instrumental in helping make connections with individuals and agencies that we might not have otherwise engaged. However, we also wanted to avoid the perception that an agency involved with the advisory group would have inside information or relationships that gave them an upper hand for being awarded the contract. So we tried hard to get to anyone that might even have interest. We connected with the press to make sure the initiative was widely and publicly known, and we released an RFP for public bidding. We received 2 bids from agencies seeking to become our Polk County FEC nonprofit provider, one from an existing nonprofit credit counseling agency that was solely focused on credit and debt counseling, and another from a local nonprofit agency that is a subsidiary of a local community college and which is located on the grounds of what is called their urban campus. In the RFP, we gave higher weighting to scored categories such as experience working with low and moderate income residents, experience with related economic mobility activities, and for strategies for engaging marginalized communities in Polk County. The credit counseling agency had a long history providing credit and debt management services to local residents and a very positive public reputation. The social services agency had a shorter history of providing financial literacy classes and, to a lesser extent, individual financial coaching, but they offered a much more substantial history of related activities. Ultimately, the primary factor in our choice for financial counseling provider was that while the social services agency had less experience with financial literacy and financial counseling, it did have some experience, and it had a much more extensive network of connections with related agencies, including workforce, housing, probation, parole, public benefits programs, colleges, and lenders. They also offered related economic mobility activities in-house and had extensive experience engaging marginalized residents. The choice we made locally for our nonprofit financial counseling provider has been the right one for a number of reasons, but primarily due to the agency's good partnerships, their internal programs that both support the work of financial counseling and provide referrals, and their familiarity and credibility with the communities we most wanted to reach. We also feel that the agency we chose has been good because of the sense of hope, energy, optimism, and excitement that can be felt in its staff, clients, and workspaces. This is clearly subjective and not very easy to score in an RFP, but an environment of optimism and confidence in clients has been very important. There are 2 additional considerations I would like to mention that could be relevant to the beginning of the relationship with a nonprofit counseling provider. The first is identity. Nonprofit agencies have their own histories and identities, so taking on a governmental partner that has a lead role in their work can feel threatening even when they did apply for the contract. It is important to put in time to make sure this relationship is understood and accepted, not just in terms of the contract, but with the actual management routines, oversight, and all expectations, including data collection, reporting, and staffing. Loyalty can also be a challenge when contracting with an agency that has already provided work in the financial literacy or counseling space, including providing those services to clients of other agencies. We found it can be helpful to spend individual time making sure these other agencies understand that the local government is in partnership with a financial counseling provider to institutionalize financial counseling as a public service, not to conduct a hostile takeover of their work. They can be understandably loyal to each other and fearful about possible disruptions to their clients.